Well, let's get to it. So I've been contemplating making this video for quite some time now. I picked the absolute worst day. Golden Cavendish Blend. Alright. Let's see if I can get my words from in here to out of here. I don't know. I never made a video like this before, so let's give it a try. Here's my first thought. There's nothing wrong with wanting to learn, wanting to grow as a person, and I think in this generation, what I see is a movement of people who don't want to be associated with society. Let's relight. So, you ever see those videos on TikTok of the interviews?
Okay.
Let's say a college-age guy is going around interviewing other college kids, and they say, "Who's the vice president of the United States?" They can't answer. Or, "How many continents are there?" And they can't answer that either. They don't even know another country. They can't even name other countries. So,
Do you know how many continents there are?
no.
Who fought in the Civil War?
I don't know.
How many states make up the United States?
How many states make? Dude.
You know, part of that on their behalf is probably maybe that's just they were put on the spot. I know for me, sometimes when someone asks me a question on camera, you're not thinking about the actual question, you're thinking about more of, oh shoot, I'm on camera, right? People my generation, we need to learn more.
Mr. Grimes, mathematics teacher, is displeased with the progress of his 9th grade class in mathematics.
You see what low grade you made on your weekly mathematics test? More than half of you failed. Most of those who passed just got by. Nobody had 100%. This is the poorest class I've had in a long, long time. Most of you have no foundation at all. Now the trouble's with your attitude. You don't pay enough attention in class. You don't do enough work outside of it. You don't know what the word study means. You haven't the slightest idea.
I once had a professor, and he said, you guys, you need to be reading a book once a week. Like, read through a whole book once a week. And that's a big challenge. I mean, that's hard for anybody. But I took it with a grain of salt. And I started reading more, and I do value history, and I do value traditions. I'm willing to grow and learn, but there's some things that I don't want to progress in. I want to stick to what's right and wrong. I don't want to go and push that. Like what we see in culture today is anything goes, right? And I just don't agree with that. It's wrong. It doesn't settle with me. I think there's a group of men and women, but I'm talking about men right now. A group of men who want to separate themselves from society. I have a quote for you. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. So, right now I think, we think of our grandparents as strong. We think of them as, maybe not always the easiest to deal with, but they were strong and they could get stuff done. We have our parents who were pretty strong as well. And then we have my generation, which not as strong, kind of weak, actually really weak, a lot of them. Okay, so that quote, I think we're in a transition period of weak men making hard times. Hard times make strong men. I want to change that quote a little bit to say this. Hard times create both strong and weak men. What I mean by that is, if you look around in society and culture, you'll see that there's strong men arising in these hard times. There's people that are getting stronger and want to work and provide for their families and grow in their faith. And then there's also those that are becoming weaker. And I think it's split. You know, if I could go back and rewrite that quote, I think I would write, hard times create strong men and weak men. There's those who just want to cower away. They might talk well, but do they actually stand up for what they believe in? And then there's those who would stand up for what they believe in, who would want to grow and provide. That's my goal as a 22, almost 23-year-old. That's what I want to do. And that's why I'm making this video. I want to challenge people my age and see if they're willing to grow and learn. Because I feel like we didn't learn enough. And we're not. We spend too much time on our phones. We're not growing in our faith. Because you look at your phone, that's the world's Bible right now. They tell you what to believe. They tell you what to think. Look where that ends up. Fun fact. I'm gonna say a fact in every video I make. I'm reading this book, The American Story. Did you know 246 colleges that started in America, 229 of them were directly founded on the Christian faith? It's really raining. By 1860, there were 288 universities in America. 262 of them had a minister as the president. By 1890, James Angle, who had been president of the University of Vermont and then the University of Michigan, reported that even at state universities, over 90% conducted chapel services. Look at Princeton, made in 1746, College of New Jersey. One of Princeton's early presidents was signer of the Declaration, John Witherspoon, and his educational philosophy was clear. Cursed be all that learning that is contrary to the cross of Christ. Princeton, what happened? University of Penn, 1751. Benjamin Franklin was instrumental in founding the College of Philadelphia, and while a specific denomination did not start the school, its policies nevertheless openly reflected its Christian character. It required none of the students or scholars belonging to the seminary shall make use of any indecent or immoral language, whether it consists in immodest expressions, in cursing and swearing, or in exclamations which introduce the name of God without reverence and without necessity, saying God's name in vain. And none of them shall, without a good and sufficient reason, be absent from school or late in his attendance, more particularly at the time of prayers, of the reading of the Holy Scriptures. What happened? And if you don't believe me, you can go to the back of this book and it'll tell you exactly where it came from. 168, 122. I'll tell you exactly where that came from. Laws relating to the moral conduct and orderly behavior of the students and scholars at the University of Pennsylvania, September 10th, 1801. So what happened to the schools? What happened to the universities? They progressed. If we look at the majority, students are not learning what they should.
This is all wrong.